Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Friday. TGIM. No, that's Monday. TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. So we're looking forward to that. All right. So the BRICS. Let's see. I was trying to think what product to put up there, to reflect the BRICS because they just finished their conference. And I have an article, I was going to discuss a little bit here. I'm going to look through all the markets and so forth. But let me see. I wanted to put the bond. Let's see, right there. There's the 30-year bond. Let's see if it's up a second day in a row. I believe it is just by a little bit. Now, what's up with that? Just try somewhere else. Sorry, there's an issue there. Let's go like this. There we are. Let's try a stock. Make sure the whole system. Oop. We're having mechanical problems here today on the beta. Look at that. It was working a few minutes ago. Not sure what that's all about. But let's try one more time somewhere else. Well, we're having problems with the beta this morning. Oh, that's a shame. All right, anyway, we'll just shoot over to the other platform, really. Yeah, I was thinking, they've got, let me remove this for the time being. And let's put the article up there. Let's see, right there it is, right there. There's the article. BRICS Summit puts focus on dethroning U.S. dollar as Putin unveils a BRICS banknote. Now, I want to bring this conversation to reality. Okay? First of all, the euro is an example of why BRICS are going to be welcomed into the marketplace. The problem is that right now, between all the bankruptcies internationally with China and the only real liquid, I guess you have two real liquid BRIC currencies. You have the South African rand, and you have the Indian rupee, and unfortunately, it's really hard to justify the Chinese yuan, as much as it's trading now about 6% of the world market at this point. It's up to 6% now, and so, but it's hard because it's a fixed currency. It's fixed to the dollar, and so how do you dethrone the dollar? In other words, how does the BRICS dethrone the dollar when it's locked into the dollar at the same time? I mean, some of the conversations, it says here, it's an outcome that alternative economists, it has to be alternative economists because they don't make much sense most of the time, most of the economists to begin with, have long predicted as inevitable the dumping of the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency. Well, it's only been the reserve currency since 1944 right there. So it's not exactly like it's been around a long time. The British pound was a couple centuries. None of this conversation here makes a lot of sense. They kind of skip reality. You have to remember that I was around when there was no euro. I used to trade the Deutschmark, okay, and I traded the French franc and what else? In other words, that was more of the action. British pound and Japanese yen. We traded a lot of different currencies, or not a lot of that. A main theme of currencies: the Swiss saltine, the Canadian dollar. The major currencies, and we saw the ruble. And it was fixed at like $4 ruble to the dollar. It was like a quarter. Obviously now it's a penny. It's lost a lot over the years from it. The markets will tell you, just like when we look at what we call the great experiment, we look at the Turkish lira. I mean, it's not us doing that to the Turkish lira. It's the Turkish central bank. It's the government that's hurting the Turkish lira. It's not us. There's no magic. Let's put it this way. I want to say there's no magic wand, but Mr. Obama, as president, basically said there was no magic wand to straighten out the economics of the economy after Mr. Trump won. And sure enough, he had a magic wand. Mr. Obama basically defined what would be a magic wand. Growth beyond 2%. Well, Trump had growth up to 6% at one point. He had oil trading at minus $39. That's right. People paid $39 to get rid of their oil, not sell it to you. Give it to you. Here, take the oil, and I'll give you $39 to it at the same time. When it comes down to these statements, it really hurts the legitimacy of the BRIC to begin with. The idea is you're taking a group of countries that are not very functional, okay, when it comes to economics. They're really in a tough situation because they're using economic theories that just don't work, and they haven't worked for 100 years, but they keep on pretending that they can do it right. Now, let me extend that point of view just a little bit further. There was a point. Hey, Robin. There was a point in. I had the idea in my head. A perfect example of what I'm talking about here. Darn, I just lost it by saying hello to Robin. The thing is that the currency itself needs to be the different economics, the Keynesian economic system and so forth, and the Soviet Union, they're all gone. And you can see, obviously, the communist country of China is really a colony of the United States. In other words, without us, they have no real economy. So, in other words, we buy a lot of slave labor, goods from them, which is against the law here in the United States, but the Democrats don't care. The party in power. Oh, I know. Here's a good example of how disconnected in a modern world the economics are. In Wired magazine, one of the modern magazines magazines that's been around for about 35, 40 years, electronics, computerization, a lot of nice technological conversation and thought, came out about 12 years ago and said, if only Joe Stalin had computers, he could have made communism work. And so it was because they didn't have the right technology that they couldn't get communism to work. Well, obviously they think it's like, computers and, cell phones and dialogue, that type of thing. But in all honesty, the technology that they're really talking about is that the economic system they run away from. In other words, they don't bring up the real conversation. The BRICS don't bring up a real conversation about it. And we would welcome the BRICS. I'm telling you, as a trader, we welcome the idea. We created a European unit back in like 82, 83 at the exchange. We traded cash currency options. We were a leader in that. I broke world records in size of trading, myself personally in it. And I have to say, we are happy to have competition. And the way they discuss it here at the BRIC conference, like as if, no, the West doesn't want to let go of the financial system, and there's no problem. We're welcome to competition every day. But when you take a good example of how incompetent China is, they build ghost cities that are like the size of London or Manhattan. And then they knock it, and people don't live in it. They build them to create labor jobs. And then they knock it down after a couple of years, and they rebuild it again. But nobody lives in them. So in other words, they're just finding ways to create jobs. Now, President Roosevelt in the 1930s pulled the same shenanigans. I forget what they called it. They had a name for it. People's or something work project. And what they would do is they would build roads to nowhere. They would pay people to dig holes and then fill those holes up and then dig them again. In other words, just to employ people. But it's not the idea to employ people. It's the idea to employ in a project that pays off. It has a potential to make more, be successful, take us further. Now, I remember driving on this one road. It's up along Lake Erie, and or it might be even along the St. Lawrence Waterway or something like that, up between Canada and the United States. And it was in New York State, and it was one of those. It had a sign. It said, "This is a something People's Project by President Roosevelt in 1934, where they built the road to nowhere because it goes nowhere." It didn't go to one town to another. They just built a road along the St. Lawrence Waterway, and and that was it. No, and it was like the digging of the holes, and then putting dirt back into the holes, then digging holes again. In other words, as a trader, we welcome the BRICS. We're very happy that the BRICS would get they're like birds of a feather. They're poor economic systems that maybe, if all together, might figure out it's their economic policies that are starving them. It's their economic policies that are stalling out their economies. It's not the global the countries around it. It's them themselves. They're hurting themselves, and so. You can see here, that headline, it cracks me up here. BRICS summit puts focus on dethroning U.S. dollar as Putin unveils BRICS banknote. And I read everything that came out of there, and they're not talking about their economic systems. They're not talking about productive ways to grow. They're just talking about being separate from the I guess you could say, the semi-more successful economic systems. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to, and that's the whole thing right there. And we in the early 80s, fought to try to create a European unit. That's why, we have the euro now. We wanted competition. We didn't want all the responsibility of always being the currency in the world. We wanted competition. We were hoping it was going to be the United States of Europe and be a very solid economic system. Unfortunately, the socialist side took control of it, and it was not really doing that great a job, unfortunately. And then when you see like the way Poland has become the second largest industrial nation on the continent when it's about the sixth largest, it shows you it's the policies and the structure. And you look at the United States, 360 million people, or 370, whatever it is, compared to the globe, which is 8 billion people, and we're more powerful than the next 10 countries put together. It's the economic system. That's what it is. It's got nothing to do with SWIFT, the SWIFT system, which is as a currency delivering system, basically, or moving equity, SWIFT. And it's a banking system. The SWIFT system is the most efficient mechanism for governments and international banks. This is the same article of BRICS. It says it right there. The SWIFT system. I'm going to highlight it right there. The SWIFT system. And that's all it is. The BRICS want to replace the SWIFT, and they can replace it all they want. God bless them. Go for it. Be my guest. But the thing is that markets in the end will decide it themselves. Just like we had this week, we've emphasized very clearly, and I've been emphasizing for the last 3 weeks, that after they lowered the rates in September, and here we are in October, that the market itself chose what the real value was. And they took away the 0.5% cut by raising the bond yield up 0.75%. So in other words, the Federal Reserve, who we find very irresponsible anymore, totally irresponsible at this point, it's been not the best of tools, but now it's the worst of tools. Where they lowered the interest rate at a 0.5 percentage point, and the market said, no, we're not interested, and raised the interest rate itself up in the open market by 0.75 point. So that's what I have to say about the BRICS. I'm not against the BRICS. You're welcome to join the world market. But if you think that by law we're going to have to use the BRICS system, you don't have to use the SWIFT system. You can be an independent and use a crypto and wire money in different forms. But if you want to be part of that system, fine. If you don't want to be part of it, fine. Come up with another system. But and that's what the BRICS are all about at this point. It seems like to me, I'm really happy to see the BRICS try to be something. Maybe they'll learn economics. I mean, you got to imagine all these Nobel Prizes go to economists that are unsuccessful. And all the successful economists do not get Nobel Prizes. It's because the system is designed right now to cheer on a failed economic system. And the media won't explain that to you because they keep on trying to tell you how bad capitalism is, when in fact it's the best system in the world. Or if it wasn't, how does 360 million people dominate the 7.5 billion people on the earth if it wasn't a good economic system? And that's really the answer there. So that's my my dig. BRICS are welcome. I mean, really, we're happy to see the BRICS. We hope that they keep on fighting to be a part of the world market, and we look very forward to it every year that they try, and they keep on trying, and we hope that they will keep on trying, and maybe they will learn, like the American system, what the best economic policies are, and they'll start to follow it. Ooh, what we got here? How are you? Would you be so kind of... Okay. So, that's the title today, is BRICS. We're happy to see the BRICS grow. Let's see. Let's make it capitals. All right, there it is. BRICS. What kind of title do we put on there about this conversation for the last 15 minutes? How about BRICS and economics? I think that's honestly where it's at, really. BRIC and economics. And real economics. How about real economy? BRICS and real economics. Economies. Real economies or economics? Yeah. I mean, really. That's what it really comes down to at this point. All right, let's go take a look at the world market. Unfortunately, if they as far as I'm concerned, I wish they would put a BRIC index so we could match it against a dollar index. Unfortunately, we don't really get that, because in other words, there's no, I've talked to Giannis about that. Maybe we could get Dukascopy to do a BRICS index, and then Mexico backed out of it, and that would have been the powerhouse of the BRICS as far as I can tell. And then obviously, we thought that South African Rand was number 2, and then now that China is up to 6% of the world trading, it's like, ooh, maybe we can use the BRIC. But the problem is, China, their currency is fixed to the dollar. So in other words, if you're trying to dominate the dollar, you can't be fixed to it at the same time. You know what I mean? Does anybody understand what I'm saying there? It's kind of weird. It's like, oh, we want to be the dominant factor, but you know what? We're fixed to the dollar, but we hate the dollar. We want to replace it, but we're fixed to it. It's like, well, start off with not being fixed to the dollar. That would be a big help. China not being fixed to the dollar. The second thing would be is let the currency float. Their currency doesn't float, so you really can't trade it. It's really like you're buying a coupon, to access something, but it doesn't float throughout the day by banks trading it. It's a fixed currency basically. The Bank of China, the People's Bank of China, fixes the price each day and says, this is the price you're going to pay. And instead, let the market decide. Look at the ruble. The ruble has gone from 4 to 100. I don't even know where the ruble is nowadays. We'll have to double check and triple check it. But, the ruble needs a lot more work. That's for sure. No, I'm sorry, not the ruble. The brick needs a lot more work. That's for sure. At this point, it's definitely not that functional. Let's try that. Yeah. So that is the magic of it all, right there. But hey, like I said, we cheered on them creating the euro to adopt to compete with the dollar. I have no problem, and I'm sure that a lot of them say it. Professional traders say it. Would be great if they had a third thing out there that we could say that, it'd be between the brick and the euro and the dollar. It would be a much more liquid world. I guess that's the way I see it. I know a lot of people don't grasp it the way I do, but that's a fact of life. That's the trader's point of view. That's exactly what that is. That's the trader's point of view. And someday it will, get back on the saddle again. Let's see, where is it at here? What is going on here? Boy, that application, I'm trying to get into our beta, and the beta is like totally funky monkey. What's up with that? Funky monkey beta. Let's see if I can try it somewhere else on a different machine. Maybe it's just the machine. I just want to double check it. Let's go into the history. Maybe there. Let's try this. Let's try that. Yeah. So let's shoot over to. Let's get the other platform going right there. And let's put the currencies up there. I thought I opened up the currencies. All right, as we load the currencies into the system. There's the euro this morning. You can see it went into a daily buy yesterday. It's in a weekly sell, and the pressure is on. Dollar index, I think, is still, let's take a look at the dollar index just real quick. I think maybe it's dipping down a little bit. It'd be nice to see it back off a little. It's like 15 or 16 days in a daily buy. Yeah, there it goes. It's starting to flirt. See, it's the opposite side of the... it's the opposite side. And you can see there, 19 days. Look at that on the spreadsheet. 3 weeks and 19 days in a buy. That's what it's been. Talk about bond vigilantes dominating the system, Whoa. Woo, woo, woo. So there it is right there. You got the euros trying to lift up a little bit, which is nice. Same thing going on right there in the cable. Cable's trying to get through the buy also. But the euro got into the buy yesterday. And that's what we talk about here, is we keep on expecting to see, the dominant situation is we keep on expecting to see that. So right now, let's see, I'm looking to see if I can open up. There it is right there. Nope, its system is down. Okay. All right, no problem there. All right, so from there, we go over to the Swiss and see what the Swiss are up to. Swiss Rooney, Swiss Ola. Let's see. Right there, let's go to the Swiss. Right there, there's the Swiss. And that's still kind of, I'm always fantasizing about the Swiss being more dominant trader, but it's only 8 million people. So it's very, very hard to for it to be, a dominant currency. But it's a top, it's in the top 5 currencies of the world. So it's a good tool. What else can we say about that? I guess that's about it. Go take a look at. And traders, if you have anything you would like to look at or see, or just put it across the chat line. We'll go after it. Let's see. From there, let's shoot over to the yen. And there is the yen. And what do we got going on with that yen? We got the yen. It's unchanged from yesterday. Let's put it that way. And I think that the Nikkei was down just a little bit. Yep. Oh, Maria Bartiromo threw the threw the ball. Good for her. Didn't realize that. Oh wow, she threw the first ball out. Nice job there. That's so funny. All right, so there's the yen. You can see it's been a daily buy for a while. What does it say on the spreadsheet? It's been a real long trend. The currencies have really been marching along. What's that? 16 days in a daily buy, 3 weeks in a weekly buy. So it's losing. Remember, when the yen is in a buy, it's losing against the dollar. The dollar, when it's in a sell, the yen is gaining against the dollar. So far we're just seeing this weakness here, and it's, a lot of action going on. We got the election coming up. We got all kinds of wild things that have got everything just jumping around. Now here's the great experiment. It climbed into the daily buy yesterday. It's moving back up. I thought that when I saw the euro go into the buy against the dollar, I thought to myself, I bet the Turkish lira goes into a buy. Now, obviously, we're not a big fan of the Turkish lira going into a buy. We like it in a sell because it reduces the inflation when it's in a sell. So the population of Turkey gain with it going down, not going up. But I saw that and I thought, all right. Now this is going on 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5th week. We haven't had a 5-week-long weekly buy in over 2 years. So that's wild. This is wild to see it. It's great. Let's hope it stays for another 5 weeks. I'd be happy to see it stay like this for a while. Unfortunately, I really thought it was more of a weakness of the euro than it was the strength of the Turkish lira. All right, and then from there we go to the South African rand. You see the rand is trying to dip down now the last couple days. Let's draw a line in there like this. It's a teeny weeny little line like that. It's trying to push down, The trend is down for 2 days now. Good. And we should be seeing gold on the upside. And I think gold did close, I believe, in a daily buy yesterday. Not silver, but gold did. It was interesting. There we go. Yeah, it closed in a daily buy. And now it's flirting with a volatility signal at the same time on the downside here. Look at that. It's trying to go down. But it's been, as you can see on the spreadsheet, there it is on the spreadsheet, 16 weeks in a weekly buy. 1 day in a daily buy. Now we're flirting with that. So that is some real action. Let's see. That's a third of the year now. You divide 52 by 3, and what's that? 16, 30, and 3 times 6 is 18. So that's 48. So it's like 17 weeks. Basically, 17 weeks will be 1/3 of a year, but really, that the gold has been in a buy. It went into that buy all the way back in 16 weeks ago. Back in way back. Back, it shows here climbing up in February. It was in February it went into the buy. Is that right? February? Oh, okay. No. Here we go. It went into the buy in July. So pretty much almost all of July, all of August, all of September, and that's 12 weeks right there. And then another. Interesting. Is that right? There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. There's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. What do we have up on there? 16. This is going on a 17th week. Wow. That's a long time. Very long time. And it was like, what? What was it down? This last weekly buy, gold was down. Where did it start off at? Right there. So gold was trading around $2,350, and now it's trading at $2,750. So it's a $400 move in that weekly buy. From there, we'll take a look at silver. There's silver. Third day in a sell, and it's like 9 weeks in a buy, and it looks like it'll hold up with no problem there. I mean, it's not really threatening anything at the moment. And then copper. And every time, I say this, I look at copper and I think of China. With the ghost cities. I mean, you got to put all that. You knock it down. You got to smelt it. The copper. I'm sure I would hope that they would take dismantling the cities just as serious as building them. So you would hope that they would take out all the copper. Take out all the silver. Take out anything that's important that you get good money for, brass and so forth, and then rebuild the new city with the same material again. And that's kind of the reason why when we see copper, we know that, well, there's some strength in there because of that, with the ghost city building. Let's see, where else are we at this point? You know what? That didn't seem to... Let me just do this. I'm going to reload it because it doesn't look like... Why there's a green line in there, I don't know. Yeah, see, it's 3 days in a sell, I think, isn't it? Let's move it over. Copper is... Yeah, so it's just saying 1 day, but I don't think... It didn't make it into the buy. It's with the red dot there. So it's really 3 days. We'll have to fix that. Remove that. So it's 3 days in a sell, just like silver. And, okay, now look at that. It's popped back up over. Today... all week long it's done this. It's going back and forth, above the weekly, below the weekly. And it's curious because we've seen this going on in the grain market. All the grains went into sells last week, and now they're all climbing back into weekly buys again. Let me see if we can put that up on the screen here. Right there. Kind of like just a sign of just volatility, I guess you could say. Odd activity. Not odd activity, it's volatility. But yeah, you can see here, let me just show you some of the grains, like corn. There's corn. Corn went into the sell last week, went into the daily buy on, is that Monday? I guess that's Monday right there, right? Yeah. No, it's Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? No. What's that? Let's just reload that. So it went into the buy on Monday. And you can see the further out month, March, same thing. And it's also doing the same thing on the weekly. It's, went into the sell, and there was a good sell-off too. We went into the daily sell here. And what a drop it went after, But it seems like it's doing the same thing in the metals complex in some ways. So there... We see wheat doing the same thing too. Look at wheat. Wheat is trying to climb into a buy. And soybeans at one point during I think it was Monday or Tuesday, showed some life. And look how close it is. It's only a point off. It's very close to going into the weekly buy. And it possibly could get there too. So we'll see how it trades as the market goes along in here. But so we're seeing that in a few different products where they went into weekly sells and now they're battling to go right back into the the weekly buy. And let's see. So with the South African rand drifting down, it's a little of a surprise that we're seeing. Gold is, copper is kind of sideways down or sideways, Silver is just kind of sideways down a little bit, nothing major. And then the gold right there. Let's see, let's go back to that. There it is right there. Same situation, kind of sideways. These things, and it's trying to flirt with a sell again. There's not a lot of conviction. We got the election coming around the corner. People are trying to be positioned as best as they can be with that situation. It really has them, on edge, and not counting. You have to imagine the Federal Reserve dropped their interest rate a half a percentage point, and the market said no, and turned around and took the interest rate back up 3/4 of a point. That has to have some, money managers totally confused. Totally. Now, it's nice to see the euro this morning get some strength against the dollar again. Second day in a row with the daily buy. But more than that is it has to have a lot of people confused. I can see that. And, that's what it really comes down to at this point. We're really in a situation where the markets are not really sure what to do. And, when markets are nervous, they go sideways. And that's probably why we're seeing like the grains going sideways. The metals trying to go sideways. We're early voting everywhere now, and New Jersey starts its has already started their voting, and Trump is doing really well everywhere around the country. So I don't know. It's going to be one or the other. It's going to be one heck of a big landslide, or I don't see it as a tight race anymore. The media keeps on saying that because they're obviously owned by the Democrat Party owns the 6 major networks. They actually own them, through surrogates. So, there's a lot to be said. Matter of fact, you can see Disney's having that problem. They bought Fox, to be able to shut Fox up, and then they paid a pretty price, and that's why their earnings are still down, because they overpaid just to own it. And then they gave away $800 million in a lawsuit. The lawsuit never even went to court, or barely started court, and Disney decided that Fox will pay the lawsuit instantly, so they can admit that they were wrong. That Fox is wrong, not that Disney was right. That's the problem. So we got a lot of weird stuff going on when it comes to the decision-making process of companies nowadays in certain areas. All right, and then last but not least, we take a look at platinum. There's platinum, and it's doing that same thing. It's trying to weaken a little bit in here. But they're all in weekly buys. The only thing that's even remotely threatening is the copper is right on the edge, but then that would make sense, just the way copper is, From there, we shoot over to the energy sector. And without the beta, let me just double check to see if the beta is back up. Finally, Mr. Beta. Nope, platform is not seen. Nope, nothing yet. All right, so there is Deck Oil. You see it's flirting with daily sell, but it is higher today than yesterday. At the same time, that weekly is not letting go. It is still basically saying that it's going to close in a weekly sell. Again, that would be, Mr. Trump had come out, he keeps on coming out and campaigning saying he will reduce the price of oil, which he did before. Like I said, it went to minus $39. Minus, yes. Not minus $1, not minus 50 cents, $39. So from there, we'll take a look at, let's see where Brent is. I'd imagine Brent is the same way. They always are. It's probably up a little bit today, but it's had all those red dots. Can't see it at the moment since our beta platform is down and my son is in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. At a Magic Cards conference. So I've texted him and he'll respond and fix it, I imagine. And then from there, let's see, what do we got? Let's go over to natural gas. There's natural gas. It's trying to make a nice little bounce. Let's do this. Let's copy this, paste it like so. Well, let's see what the December looks like. All right, let's put that on there. And that will be Z, right? Yep. Oh, we don't have it. We have to add it. Okay. Let's get that in there. Z, NGZ. Break down to the Z's. Next one we'll be looking at the January contract. We should put that in there too. That should be interesting. ZZZZZ top. ZZ top. Let's see. 24. NGZ 24. There it is. November of 24. Where's December of 24? There it is right there. Is that it? Yep, that's it right there. And then let's put Jan in, which is F like in Frank, right? Yeah. Take a look at both of them. That'd be interesting to look at. NGF. Okay. There we go. Try that one more time. Don't think we added it correctly. Right there, Z4. There they are. Let's see what the Z4 looks like first. Doing the same thing. It's lifting up. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Right there. Shows a second week or is it a third week? This might have been in a sell for 3 weeks. This might be the third week here. Now I know our beta had us in sell for a while. Yep, that's 3 weeks. So it went into the weekly sell here. It was right there, 3 weeks in the sell. Whereas when we go and look at the November is just 2 weeks. Yeah, interesting. And I wonder what the, I guess what we'll do is we'll go like this. Let's take this one. I want to see, I don't want to even look at November anymore. Let's go take a look at January. See what the January looks like. Let's see. I guess we can get like that. Can we delete that? I don't think we can. Just go like F right there. F right that. Yeah, that's the same way. Look at that. It's underneath there even clearer. So it went into the sell up in this week right in here. Interesting. All right, so that's natural gas. I think we looked at ExxonMobil yesterday, didn't we? I think that's what we were looking at when it came to some of the, like the energy stocks. Unfortunately, without the beta running right now, I guess I could load up the other platform, but it's kind of late in the webinar to want to do that. But what we will do is let's go take a look at them over here. Let's see, let's go right to there. Like to that. Let's go like that. And then let's open up Yahoo Finance. And we'll look at that. Let's see if we can do this. So you can see here. Let's do world indices. You know, when we go finance and we go like this, markets, world indices, like that. Go like that, like that. There we go. So you can see here. Not sure what that is. S&P 500. Oh, that's the S&P 500. Okay, and then there's Dow Jones, Nasdaq, New York, and then there's the Amex, and Russell, and let's see what else we got there. Then we go with, there's the FTSE. The FTSE's up just a little bit, not a lot, and you can see here the DAX. Here's the FTSE. Let's put the chart up, and then we'll just go back and forth. You can see it's just trying to climb up a little bit. We'll go back like that. And then you can see the DAX. Right there. Oh, you can't see that. Let's shift you over to that. There it is. There's the DAX. It's trying to lift up also. You know, a little strength. It's been selling the beginning of the week, and it's been trying to bottom out the end of the week. And then from the DAX, there's the CAC 40. See how that looks. And that's been in and out towards the lows of the day. And they've got a lot of issues there in their economy at the moment, it seems like. And then from there, we take a look at the Stokes 50 right there in Europe. See, it's kind of bouncing like that. Now let's go over to Asia. See what's going on in Asia. World indices. The Nikkei, I saw it. The Nikkei was down a couple hundred points. Let's see, where are you, Nikkei? There it is right there. Nikkei was down 229 points, as you can see there. Kind of a slow ending week. Currency was up pretty strong all week. It was losing so much this week. Go over and take a look at Taiwan. See what they're doing in Taiwan. They seem very brave and comfortable in Taiwan. They know their missiles work better than China's. That's what it comes down to. They might have a lot of boats out there, the Chinese, but when it comes to actually hitting the target, that'll be the big question. You can see here it's up for the day on Friday. So they're pushing a little bit on it. And that's the Taiwan indice. And then let's take a look at South Korea. See, I would love to have a North Korean index of some form that we could follow. That was, run by the markets. Supply and demand. See, that's what the command and control economies, they can't relate to that idea. You see here, 2 days in a row down, but not by much. It's actually up for the day compared to down for the day. See, it's up $2 right there. It's up $2.24. So as much as it was a red candle, they were feeling some pressure there. Then over there we go and look at, who else do we look at out of this magical universe? Let's take a look at... I know where we want to go. Go to Shanghai and see what they did there. It looks, it's up 19 for the day. So Shanghai was up a little bit. And there's all these, advertisement headlines out of nowhere. Stuff like Is China ready to stimulate again? Well, obviously, I've made the case that they have to. They don't. It's not that they. It's like as if they've done. They haven't. It seems like they've just started to stimulate. That's the weirder part out of it all, is that China is really just starting to get into the grip of stimulation. It's not really. They're not really. They need to do so much more. I've told you what the numbers are. They need to do. They've done 1 trillion. They really need to do between 20 and 30 trillion. That's what they really need to do. So, that there's a lot of implied statements about, well, when's it going to start next? When's the next stimulation going to come from China? And it's. I don't. If I was part of the People's Bank of China, and using their policies, not my policies, I would have to guess that they want to stand back and wait for another week or so before they try to do any real stimulation. At least in my head, let the election go by, and then go from there. Imagine if Mrs. Harris somehow found a way to win. I mean, they wouldn't have to stimulate. They can just keep it all upside down the way it is now. So, I mean, that's probably, we won't see any real stimulation from China until after the election. That's what I'm thinking. And that would make sense to me. So, all right. From the world market there, we go to, where do we go next? Okay, right there. You can see all the ordinaries. We don't usually look at that anymore. We should look at that. There is the Australian all ordinaries. And it's the same way. They're all starting to stall out into this sideways pattern. You see that globally. The whole planet is starting to slow down and wait and see what is going to happen. From this little nation that has only, under 400 million, it controls, or let's say it influences. I don't say it controls. It influences the other 7.5 billion people. And it's because of its economic system. Nothing more than that. Just its economic system. Free people, free markets are the answer. All right. And then from there, notice the Nifty 50 had been finding a way to go down. Let's see. Find the Nifty 50. Where are you? Nifty 50. Nifty 50. All right, let's see if I can find. Go like that, go like that. Let me see if we can get this again up on the screen there. There we are. So the symbol for the Nifty 50 is, where is it at? NE something or other, right? Not NNE. That's an actual uranium stock. Let's see. I'm just going to find that symbol, and we'll go right to it up on. Let's see. We'll find it here. There it is. NSEI. Where is it at? NSEI. NSEI. Nifty 50. Here it is right there. Why it's not in the world. Down 218. It's been a little weak the last, with the. You got to wonder. They're definitely involved in BRICS now. And they're one of the strongest BRIC nations out there. They're in the top 3, that's for sure. Obviously between China, South Africa, and India, and I guess you could say Russia. They're the bulwark of the Nifty 50. The brick, and it's been in a sell-off since up in here. Since it's up in the almost the 26,000 area, right? 26,200. It's dropped 2,000 points. I'm not sure what the story is, but that's an interesting story to try to find. I think I'm going to look around why it's been selling down. I guess now it's it has to become more responsible. I don't know. 8 to 9%. See if I can see anything. Indian stock. How to? No. What news is there? India's Nifty 50 slides near 4% as early voting counting signals slim Modi win. That's 4 months ago. All right. Not much of a story is being laid out there, but all right. We'll hunt around for it. We'll see what we can find out. All right, traders. Everybody have a safe and smart weekend, and we will catch you all on Monday, and we'll go from there. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders, have a safe and smart weekend. Ta-ta for now. We could, I was going to say, we could show you a picture out front of Albert Einstein's house. Maybe we should do that. Here, check this out. This could be fun. Here is Al Einstein right there. They have a Halloween party there every year. And let's see where does that go? There it is right there. There it is. Al, that's his old house in Princeton. He's out there playing with the violin, and that's pretty cool. That is cool. All right. Later, traders.